Well, Feige, at least we know that we drew the line at 4 shows. 4 shows is the limit for these being good shows. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the official Nerd Talk channel. My name is Tyler, aka Mind of a Nerd. I am joined by my co-host, Mr. Stu, and we are back for another MCU TV show review for you guys. And we are talking about Hawkeye, the fourth television show that was on Disney Plus, and the fourth show that came out in 2021. Yes, we had 4 of these shows in 2021. Our brains were fried walnuts by the end of 2021. And this wasn't even the last project in 2021 because we had No Way Home literally, I think, the week after this ended or something like that. I don't remember. We were on overload this year. But Hawkeye, this was a show I was looking forward to when it was coming out because I really liked the character of Hawkeye, and this was still in the realm of this Disney Plus era where it seemed like they had the right idea of giving certain characters projects that wouldn't benefit the theatrical treatment. Although this one, I don't really understand that, but we'll talk about that. And this show, when I first watched it, I kind of hated it. I didn't like it really at all. I found it to be criminally disappointing, and from a week to week standpoint, I found it to be kind of garbage. On a rewatch, I do like this show better. There are things about the show I really, really like. There are things about the show I really, really don't like. And as a whole, up to this point, this was my least favorite of the shows, and I still stand by that. Again, up to this point. But I don't think this is a bad show. John, what are your thoughts? Because this was a first time watch for you in its entirety.
Yeah, I started it when it came out, and I didn't make it past the first episode because I just didn't like it. Um, and I never like felt the need to go back to it. But this time around, I'm glad that we decided to do reviews for these shows, and I got a chance to revisit it. I actually really like this show. It is my least favorite of the shows up until this point, like you said, but I do really enjoy this show. Um I think that people were really hard on it. It is largely just, if the MCU as a whole is a TV show, Hawkeye is a filler episode. Um, and that's okay. I'm okay with that. I used to not be okay with that, but I think I'm okay with that now because I think that's kind of how it should be with these TV shows. Um, but yeah, I appreciate that it was a holiday show. Um, I I would have preferred if it was just a tad bit more serious, but that's just a personal preference. Um, but the things that people complain about with this show, I really didn't have that much of a problem with. I know people, complain about the tracksuit mafia and how Yelena's handled. None of that really bothered me to bother me enough to say that the quality of show was bad. So yeah, I really think this is an unfairly judged show. It's not great. It's like it's nothing to write home about, but it's still a pretty decent show.
Yeah, I think the show works better on a binge than it does week to week because I remember
Mm.
it week to week, it felt like we were getting through the show.
Yeah.
But when I watched it again, it felt a little quicker.
It would work better as a movie.
Well,
You cut out the fluff and and it would definitely be a solid hour and 50-minute movie, hour and 55-minute movie.
But let's start talking about the good. The good, the show looks very good. The show looks very good. Like I said when we talked about Falcon and Winter Soldier, this first the first like four shows that they did, they achieved their goal of MCU movies in the form of TV shows. This show
Mhm.
looks very good. It looks expensive. It looks competent. And, I know they didn't film in New York. They recreated New York very lovely. I'm watching this show as someone from New York. I'm like, that looks like New York to a T. Um, I also love that it's a holiday themed show. We don't get a lot of that in the MCU. That one of the things that I love is the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special. It's not amazing, but I love throwing it on every Christmas because it's like, hey, this is a fun thing to watch. I don't watch this show around Christmas, but I assume people that love this show do. Um, the the acting from our main characters is very good. Jeremy Renner, once again, is very good as Hawkeye. Haley Steinfeld as Kate Bishop is the heart and soul of this show. Without these two characters front and center, this show has nothing to me. I think their chemistry is unmatched and they work so well together. The little time that we get with him and the family, I think is great. Um, the villain side of this show, I don't like the villains. Any single one of them. Maya is so boring as a antagonist to me. I don't really like her, and even her show doesn't. It's not one of those. Oh, I like her more now because of her show. Her show does not do anything to improve on her role in this show. The tracksuit mafia, I don't like them at all. I find them so cringy and ridiculously stupid. I don't like them. I don't. I really try to get into them. I don't really like them. Um I'll put her in this category because she's kind of a villain, kind of not. Yelena, I don't really like her in this show, and it's got nothing to do with Florence Pugh. She's amazing as always, but I don't really like how we get the post credit scene to Black Widow, and they make it look like, obviously Valentina's setting her up, and they make it a big thing, like, oh, she's going after Hawkeye, and when she shows up, you know, they maintain that, but then the very next scene after that rooftop fight sequence, I think at the end of episode 4, she's sitting in Kate Bishop's house joking about mac and cheese. I don't know. It don't add up for me. And then when the person that's getting in her way to Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, is in a elevator with her, and they proceed to have a fight scene. Instead of actually fighting, they proceed to just slap each other. I I didn't find that funny. I didn't find that interesting. It doesn't work for me. Um, then there's this whole mystery that they got going on with the swordsman. I personally didn't really find that all interesting. The stuff that I really like about this show is just kind of underdeveloped. The whole thing with Clint losing his hearing and then the relationship with him and his family, that stuff is excellent, but it's not in the show nearly as enough. And when it's there, it's kind of like that's the show that I want, or that's the movie that I want. I love my favorite scene in the entire show is when he has to talk to his son and he can't hear him. That scene is what I wanted more of, because it's like, oh no, we can be serious. Um, the finale is good. I like the finale. It's fun. It's a fun finale. I like all the action sequences in the show are very good. I would say the best episode is probably episode 3. It has that amazing car chase and it ends with the pin arrow. That's really fun.
Yeah.
That's a really fun action sequence. Um, the inclusion of Kingpin in this show is pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. When they were teasing it week to week, I was like, they're not gonna do that. That would be a big deal. Then he shows up, and it's like, oh wow, like we have the rights to, and it's funny. I think they had gotten the rights to Daredevil and all that like that year. So it's
Mm-hmm.
kind of funny seeing Kingpin show up in this, and then Daredevil shows up in Far From Home. I mean, No Way Home. It's like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Like you could tell they were foaming at the mouth to use all these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And at first glance, I hated the way they used Kingpin because I thought it was stupid. They didn't really announce that Kingpin was going to be a heavy factor into the Echo show, but that is the one thing that I can forgive this show for is how they treated Kingpin because in the Echo show he has more to do and he's the best part of that show. Um, but yeah, that's I don't really have a whole lot to say about the show. I just think it's fine. It's not bad. There's bad things in it, but I don't hate it. I just wish it did things differently. I don't know.
Yeah. If if I had watched this show in 2021, I may have felt the same way that you feel. But I think because we're so far removed from that, and we've gotten so many projects since then. The things that would have bothered me, I've just kind of accepted now. So for example, the Tracksuit Mafia, I know for a fact that in 2021, if I had watched that like freshly, that would have bothered me. But now it's just kind of like it is what it is now. So it didn't really bother me that much. I kind of, they're henchmen. They're bumbling henchmen, which is par for the course for this type of storytelling. So it is what it is. Um, Yelena, I I really don't have a problem with Yelena at all in this show. Yelena is not behaving any differently than she is than we've seen her before. When we first see her in Black Widow, she always alternates from serious to silly. She does that in Hawkeye. She does that in Thunderbolts. Like every time we see her, she always has some sense of absurdity to offset her trauma, which I appreciate. The macaroni scene is the same thing as the poser scene. It's the same thing as talking about the vest with the pockets. Um, it's the same thing as the was that a hamster or a guinea pig and
Thunderbolts.
Thunderbolts. It's the same thing. So I mean, like to me, like if we're gonna complain about that, we gotta complain about all the other stuff, and none of the other stuff bother me. So why should this bother me? And I mentioned this yesterday. James Gunn is guilty of worse crimes. His jokes go on forever. And the macaroni scene was relatively quick compared to that. So that didn't bother me. But what did bother me about Elaine is that they did not mention Valentina. They set it up in Black Widow that she sent uh Yelena to kill Clint, and all of a sudden it's uh Eleanor, which okay, I guess, but you that was a big deal at that post credit scene. You should have at least mentioned Valentina if you weren't going to show her. So that definitely felt like a retcon. Another thing that I didn't care for was how they kind of, I won't say shoehorned, but I guess shoehorned Kingpin in at the last minute of the show. Um, he could have been anybody. Like there was no build up to him being Kingpin. He literally could have been any villain. And I think for a villain like that, there there has to be some kind of build up. This was someone that everybody wanted in the MCU proper. Um, and it just felt it felt very matter of fact instead of something that they had always intended. So, but other than that, I thought the show was relatively funny. And I did very much enjoy the action sequences. I agree with the car chase and the Pym particle arrow in episode 3. That was a great car chase. It made me sad when that Challenger that got destroyed. That 72 Challenger was beautiful, and I audibly cringed. I was like, ah. But it was a great car chase. I don't like Clint's suit.
No,
It looks
I like their suits.
I like hers. I don't like his. His just looks like regular clothes.
It does. It does.
It's like, bro, you just gave him just a compression shirt. Like, it's just regular. He looked like he just got done working out.
Well, it's from the comics, you know.
Eh.
You know how that goes.
Accuracy, schmaccuracy.
I do like that they're vibrant though. You don't get vibrant costumes. Well, at this point, we didn't get vibrant costumes. Now, you know, flash forward to the times that Doomsday is coming out. That's all you see in the MCU, which I'm happy about. But yeah, man, John mentioned it earlier. I when I watched the show again, I was like, man, if you took out all the nonsense, remove some of the villains, because there are way too many villains in the show, and just focused on one thing, this could have been a really solid movie. And I think people would have went to go see it. I think this could have been really cool, you know, to have as a movie. It has the budget, it has the direction for that. I think it could have worked better as a movie versus nearly 6 hours of a show, to which a lot of it is just kind of there. Episode 2 to me is the biggest victim of that. Episode 2 is the worst episode of this show. It feels 5 hours long, and it's not even 1 hour. To where he's going to these LARPers and shit. It's so cringy to me, bro. That's the one episode that I just downright hate. But again, this is still one of the better shows. You know, even with this being the worst of the 4 that we've covered, this is still okay. It's not as bad as Agatha. It's not as bad as Secret Invasion. It's not as underwhelming as Ironheart was. It's pretty solid, even if it has a lot of issues. And I know you haven't watched Echo. I think you're gonna like Echo, because they utilize Kingpin and Maya way better there than they did here. So I'm looking forward to rewatching it. But yeah, Hawkeye, it's pretty good, even if it's got some issues. The next show we will be talking about is Moon Knight. It's either Moon Knight or Miss Marvel, one or the other. I forgot. I know they came out around the same time, so we'll figure that out. It's probably Moon Knight. Which, if it is Moon Knight, I'm really excited to do Moon Knight. If it's Miss Marvel, I'm halfway excited to do Miss Marvel. But
I never finished Miss Marvel, so I'm looking forward to finishing it.
Oh boy, get ready for those PS2 third act CGI battle. But that is gonna do it for this review. If you guys enjoyed it, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell for all notifications for future Nerd Talk videos and live streams. We will see you on the next one.